Good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. So this is day 2 of the Alvechurch Festival run by Lee Davis. Now I didn't film day 1 just because I didn't have enough time to kit up. Now I did have a bit of a mishap. I went over one of my nets and unfortunately lost a net. So that was a bit frustrating. So basically I should have been second with the knockback where how it used to work. Should have been third, but the rules changed. So as always was £60 weight limit, go up to 65, count to 65, go over 65, get knocked back to 60, go over 70, lose a net, and I did have £69. Thing is with the canal, if you only have 12 carp in one net, then it doesn't matter what it weighs. The other lakes, that rule doesn't apply. But anyway, I don't need to harp on about that. It's happened, so, no point crying over spilt milk. It's only a fishing match. It's not the end of the world, is it? But obviously, at the same time, not contradicting myself, it's just a little bit frustrating. Anyway, so I've drawn peg 24, which is the same peg as I had last year's festival, and I did actually win the lake. I think I had £299. Conditions, obviously got a bit of ripple, but it has been blowing down basically to the far end of the lake. So you like to think that 18, 14 potentially would be advantageous with the wind, but there's lots of fish here, so obviously got a decent peg, so I can't moan. Now, because Horseshoe's very silty, I do fish a lot of paste here, so my armour is going to be paste, and no point messing around in this lake. So fishing 022 straight through with a short kit. So obviously, we've got some good anglers fishing this, so no point messing around. The elastic's not tight or anything like that, otherwise, because the fish just want to kite off. So if you fish a real tight elastic, all that will happen is you just get loads of hook pulls and that. At the same time, through a short kit, then obviously you just could hopefully be able to control them a lot better. Foul lookers, you probably ain't going to get them out, but if you get your feeding right and fishing paste, normally eliminates a lot of foul lookers, to be honest. Not a lot else really to say, to be honest. Just feeding like 4 mils, fishing quite a good dollop of paste, fishing a John Walker float 0.2 gram, and just rotation of lines is just quite important. They can like dig it out, so make sure that you got plenty of line between your pole tip and your float, because trust me, you might be altering it for 6 inches even if they really do root into it. Maybe not 6 inches, a couple of inches, 4 inches maybe. Sometimes it can be best to start another line. So say if it does become a little bit carnage where they've rooted out a lot and you've got loads of blows, it might be worth like moving a couple of meters to the right and literally just start a new line. And that can work quite well. So I've been catching steady. Stamper fish not been massive, and to be honest, I didn't catch great down to the left edge. Last year on the fish festival, wind was blowing down the other end as well, but 27 wasn't in. Poor lad's van broke down, so obviously that gave me loads of room, and I've got Will on 27, who's a good angler and he fishes here quite a lot. So obviously, I feel like last time I was on this peg, obviously I had more room, which obviously is massive, especially with carp and that. So yeah, the edge didn't really produce to my left, which is a little bit disappointing, but caught best in open water. I've tried to catch to my right edge, and only had one. You can see my trolley like folding over the leads, folding over the reeds, so that I can see proper.
Find out, Will.
So caught really well in the last sort of like half hour short. So basically on a top kit, well no, a short kit plus two. I couldn't get them really short, and I couldn't really get them down the edges, and I'm not sure about that. Maybe I got like feeding wrong. I know micros and corn can be good. Maybe I should have done that. I basically done maggots to my right, which and ground, but it would come to it, but it's just really difficult to catch. And then I just like fed pellets to my left, and then just pellets and open water. Um, so yeah, a little bit disappointed because you know it's going to finish tight. Um, I just one fish off really. Faffing around, pretty much run out of pace. Whistle's just gone. So there's all the weights. So I just got done by Mr. Stibbs.